Cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again.
Am I wrong? Okay. This progress is a part of Christian Reek Central Network. Wrong.
Hey, Scoop, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. I'm supposed to be reading an ad.
All right, hold on. Give me it.
Okay.
All right. This podcast is part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast,
The animated series.
Joining me today is a man who, well, he thinks this might be madness. But in fact, this is Thundera! Welcome, Jacob.
Haha. Very good.
I was hoping for more than that.
Nope. Calm, cool, collected night.
Sure.
Why, thank you. I'd like to introduce our co-host, a man who... Why did you kick me down the well anyway? Welcome, Drew.
You were acting crazy. So today we are reviewing Thundercats 2011, Season 1, Episode 13, Between Brothers. So Jacob, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
All right. As Lion-O and Tigra visit the astral plane in search for the next stone, however, the evil Mumra has a sinister plan to turn the brothers against one another.
Alrighty, getting into the trivia for this episode. When Panthro is healing from his wounds during the celebration, Snarf acts like a nursemaid in reference to the Snarf character from the 80s.
Yes, that was hilarious. Like, get with me, Snarf.
It should be noted that Annette predicted that Lion-O would feel betrayed and experience a betrayal from Tigra, from Lion-O's perspective, but not literally be betrayed, but feel betrayed.
Yeah.
And of course, the scene where Tigra pushes Lion-O into the pit is an obvious parody of the movie 300.
Yes. That was very good.
Yeah, so let's talk about this thing. I don't have any brothers.
Okay, I do.
So you can actually offer a perspective on this that I cannot.
Okay.
I probably can do the same, but we'll get to that.
All right. Well, when it comes to like having brothers, be like, yeah, you share this type bond, but every once in a while you do be like, you can be very jealous of each other. Mm-hmm. Be like, maybe because you do something better than this person can. You know, like Lion-O and Tigra. Tigra is obviously much better at everything than Tiger does. I mean, Lion-O.
Well, tigers have their pride.
Yeah, that is true. That is so true.
Technically, lions have a pride, too.
Yeah.
But it's a different type of
pride.
It's
a different pride type. Yeah. But there can be the animosity. There can be that, like, jealousy of, or... like maybe it's the younger or older brother or sibling or what have you can be like, oh, I'm better at you than this. Like, ask anybody if they have siblings. You'd be like, you're going to have some animosity. Maybe you're going to have some jealousy. Be like, I've got to prove that I'm better than they are at this. So there's always this. It's almost a competition, a competitiveness.
Yeah,
among your brothers or sisters or mixed lot, whatever. To kind of almost prove that you're better. Not better, but you can do something better than they can. It's always trying to one up another. Mm-hmm. And in this episode, it proves to be like you've had this very surreal moment where obviously Lion-O had completely forgotten about him getting kicked into the well.
Well, I don't know if Lion-O forgot about it, but he had a different perspective on it than Tigra had. Mm-hmm. From Lion-O's perspective, Tigra isn't the one who caused him to fall originally. Yeah. It was the fact that the branch happened to break.
Yeah.
But Tiger remembers what happened, and he, because, and we'll find this out later, he felt guilt about it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
of course he remembers it in sharp contrast.
Oh,
Whereas
yeah.
of course the person who got hurt doesn't remember it that well. Although
Right.
I am curious how after everything said and done, they were able to Claudius was able to get Lion-O out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious of that.
Yeah.
I did skip ahead. My apologies.
It's all right.
But yeah, throughout this episode, Mum-Ra's plan is to enhance or increase the amount of hatred and jealousy between the two that naturally exists between these two brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is because you have to, there's always been this little bit of animosity and rivals between the two. It does not help that Tigra, while older, is adopted.
Yeah.
And so he's the older brother, but yet he has less power. He has to be subject to his little brother.
Yeah.
Which makes me think of Thor and Loki, of all things, from Marvel.
Yeah, I can
the
see
MCU.
that. Yeah, I can see that. That Loki is incredibly jealous of Thor.
Well, they both Tigra and Loki have the ability to be invisible.
True.
They both are a little more on the cunning and sneaky side of tactics.
That's true.
While Thor and Lion-O are both attack full front as hard and fast as you can.
Yeah, without thinking about it.
Without thinking about it.
Right. Good parallel, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works.
Yeah. That's a really good.
Makes me wonder if
good
Will
analogy.
Friedle has ever voiced Thor in anything.
Yeah, might have to check that.
I'll have to check that later.
But yeah, it's a good episode where Tigra be like, obviously he feels that he should be king, and that's a very running theme throughout the show. And we get this amazing clash between the two that be like, I should be king, I should have the sword, the sword. Be like, you shouldn't have it because be like you're not good enough. You're always second best at everything I do. So I should have everything I deserve. And that be like towards the end of the episode, Tigra does get more of that realization that hey,
he remembers how in that original instance the guilt he felt when he realized he had hurt his brother.
Yeah,
and knowing he couldn't fix that himself, he ran to the people who could, which was his father.
Yes,
and everyone else. Now, did Tiger get in trouble for that? More than likely,
probably.
I would assume.
Yeah,
but Lion-O, of course, doesn't remember any of that part of it. And so Lion-O, I think, in this has to realize that not everything's been as rosy for Tigra as it may have been for him.
It's based on perspective.
Yeah, it is very much based on perspective. And thanks to Lion-O's unique perspective, he's able to figure out that they're not on. They don't need to find the Soul Stone in the astral plane.
Yeah.
They're on the Soul Stone.
Exactly.
And he's able to say, "Oh, it's right under our nose. You said that at the beginning of the episode. Why were you people paying attention?" Also, you were also standing on your father in that instance. That should have told you something too. But anyway,
right.
So Lion-O's able to get the Soul Stone, which causes the astral plane to start collapsing, and so they have to get out. And Mum-Ra gets out at barely time.
Yeah.
But while all that was going on, Groon and
Pinthro.
No, the other general, the other Mum-Ra general.
Slack.
Yeah, him. They have decided that they are going to go against Mum-Ra's orders.
That's right.
Not attacking the village.
And
attack the village because, hey, how horrible could it be if Mum-Ra was trapped in the astral plane? That we could be the top. Yeah, shut up, you stupid hyenas.
Okay, Starscream.
Yeah, pretty much. So they attack. There's as Lion-O and Tigra come out, there's this big battle happening. After forgetting to go meditate on whether or not they should help, the elephants come back after meditating and kick butt.
Exactly.
When Slythe asks, "But the elephants never fight," says, "Actually, we rarely fight, but when we do, we fight to win." So it's like,
Yeah. boom, and there goes your lizard butt.
Pretty much. And then, of course, Groon and Panthro are doing their big fight to the death because there's some animosity left between these two.
Just the best.
Just a touch. And after a little bit of fighting and everything, Panthro was able to grab a hold of Groon and push him into the astral plane.
As it's closing.
As it closes. And Panthro, as a last jab at his old friend who had betrayed him, quotes one of his friend's sayings that pretty much described how his friend had always lived his life.
Mm-hmm.
Any sacrifice is necessary to defeat your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Which included Panthro's arms.
Which
I'm still going,
wow.
Panthro, you should have kicked him into that thing, and then you wouldn't have had to go back to where I accurately predicted as the Burble Village that they were going to have to go back to.
Uh-huh.
It's like, then you wouldn't have to go back there and have to deal with all of that. We'll get to that here
in a minute.
In a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was interesting. And then, of course, you have the big celebration.
Uh-huh.
And the thing is, I did not realize until I was watching this that this is obviously the end of the first half of the series.
Yes.
Because the next episode, which is not up on my thing,
New Alliances.
New Alliances, is A, aired about 3 months later, and B, there's been some downtime, at least enough downtime for Kit and Kat to get hoverboards.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. And obviously, this is the end of one act and the beginning of another.
Exactly, but we are missing one thing.
Oh.
The betrayal that you didn't
Oh,
see.
yes. I was getting to that.
Yes.
Because at the end of the celebration, Lion-O comes up to the elephant and he says, you know, they told me, y'all said your visions were never lied, but I never got betrayed. Tiger never betrayed me. To which the elephant says, did the evening bell ring yet? I don't remember. And Lion-O says, of course you didn't. And then we see this scene between Tigra and Chitara, because we haven't mentioned it, but between the last two episodes, we saw that they had a bit of a relationship back in the day.
Yeah,
and
a little bit.
To some degree, they still have these feelings.
Yes.
And after they talk about it, they kiss in the moonlight while a Lion-O who was going to go talk to Chitara, I'm assuming, looks on. And the episode ends with the ringing of a bell.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun!
And 3 months later, we come back. So, yeah, that's, I think, the end of this one, unless you got anything more to add.
No, it's a really good episode. It's left on a really good ending. If like the fact that we get 3 months, 3 months later, it's like that would be. That's like, what happens? Well, obviously, the adventure continues, but it's more how does the relationship with the characters and
this episode aired in November, I believe.
Yeah,
and then it came back in like March.
Yeah,
so they took their break between December, January, and February.
Right.
Which is ironic considering when we're reviewing this.
Right.
Anyway, join us on the next episode, which is New Alliances. Mm-hmm. Come, Jacob. We must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast.
Oh, boy.
So where can they find you, Jacob?
They can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron and Jacob's Daily Art Corner, my personal art Facebook page. On Twitter at Jacob B. Heron, on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, and on Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. Where can they find you, Drew?
You can find me on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. You can also find my Facebook page at Drew's Photo Bin, where I upload my photography. You can also follow me on Letterboxd at GGeorge759 and Twitter at GGeorge759. Where can they find us, Jacob?
You can also visit our website, thecellcast.podbean.com, where you will find every episode we released and links to listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. Our RSS feed, if we aren't in your favorite podcast app directory, please share, review, and subscribe to us there and share us with your friends.
You will also find a link to our Facebook group, the Double Feature Podcast Community, where we talk about both animated and live-action movies. We share this with our other podcasts, which we do with Jacob's brother Jim, at the Movie of the Week podcast, where we talk about live-action movies. You can also email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. Also, please like our page on Facebook. We try to post about upcoming movies. If you comment on that movie's post before we record, we'll read your comments in the episode. And remember, every time we say The Cellcast, that is with a single L.